This is why I'm most excited about this time, Gary. These are the times when there's such a great opportunity. Warren Buffett said it best when he said, "When people are greedy, be fearful, and when people are fearful, be greedy," which means that right now people are fearful. Now is the time to strike. Now is the time of great opportunity. Opportunities are born now that weren't available before and won't be available later. This is a window of time. Take advantage. Katie bar the door. So I'll give you just some classic examples of this. Back coming out of the Depression in the 1920s, Post cereal maker was the category leader by far. And then during the Depression, they scaled their advertising way back, which would seem like a logical thing to do when you're going through the middle of a depression. Well, their rival, Kellogg, was coming out with a new cereal called Rice Krispies. I don't know if you remember that, with Snap, Crackle, Pop and the gnome-like creatures. And and they doubled down on advertising. Well, they grew 30% during the Depression, and they came out as the category leader, and they have never been knocked off since. They would not have been able to do that if Post hadn't retreated in a depression situation. During the 1970s, during the oil embargo by OPEC and the energy crisis, all of a sudden, America had all these giant cars, but fuel efficiency became the thing. Well, Volkswagen, was perfectly positioned, but they got scared and they retreated and retracted a lot of their marketing and advertising. And that is when Toyota doubled down on their advertising spend and sped right past VW to become the number one import car maker coming in the United States by 1976, only a year after the recession had ended. During the 1990s recession, McDonald's got scared. They cut way back on their advertising spend. And that is when Pizza Hut and Taco Bell doubled down on their spend. So Pizza Hut went up 61%, Taco Bell went up 40%, McDonald's went down 28%. And then in the last 2008, 2009 recession, when a lot of people got scared and pulled back on their marketing and advertising, that's when Amazon doubled down on their Kindle e-reader. And so cash-strapped consumers, again, seeing the new trend, so they can buy books less expensive, and it was more convenient to carry around. So they doubled down on that. Well, coming out of 2007, their 12-month trailing revenue was 19 billion. 2019, it was 281 billion. But it was coming out and going and doubling down hard during the recession that really gave them that growth trajectory coming out of it. So I would say, act boldly. What do champions do? They freaking act boldly, particularly when people are fearful. When people are retreating, that's when they're running towards the firestorm. So another great example, I just love Elon Musk, because he's such a ballsy guy, man. I mean, the real Iron Man. So in September 2016, South Australia was experiencing an apocalyptic storm. I mean, they had 80,000 lightning strikes and at least two tornadoes. And so it knocked out their energy grid, and they put 1.7 million people into darkness. And so the Australian Prime Minister, what did he do? Well, he started to blame the state's current turn towards renewable energy, right? And so then a fierce debate broke out, and that is when Elon Musk saw an opportunity to be bold, to be a white knight and make an audacious bet. So he said loudly on Twitter that he would deliver 100 megawatts of storage in 100 days, or it would be free. In other words, he would build the biggest battery farm the history's ever seen up to that point in 100 days, or it'd be free. If an Australian billionaire came out and said, "Are you serious?" And he says, 100 days, 100 megawatts, or it's free. Can I be more clear? And so the Australian government put together a $550 million energy plan. Elon Musk won the bid for it, and he delivered the 100 largest battery in the history of the world with 40 days to spare. And he was asked, he says, if you had lost the bet, what would it have cost you? He said, it would have cost me $50 million. He says, but I knew we could do it. It wasn't a risk. I knew we already had the tech. I knew we already had the facilities, but he had to make his claim audacious. He had to be bold. He had to see an opportunity to step in and be a white knight. And so I'm just going to say to all of your network out there, there are those opportunities for you to make an audacious, bold move. And like I said, 2 to 3x in growth, you can't even look at those opportunities. It's got to be 10 to 100x. That's where the audacious blue ocean opportunities are, and that's what the champion drivers look for. Are those bold moves that are going to be the great separators between the once were versus those that will become.
Be the exception.